Thank you for watching NMH at 1, where we take a look at the news making headlines in the land of the brave and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports and economic news. In the news today, Judge lashes police's despicable conduct. Swapo Extraordinary Congress would be GBV against women. And UK offers voluntary return to Namibians. I am Diana Master. Stick around, we'll be right back with our midday news update. A 49-year-old man was arrested on Monday after he was found in possession of 2 python skins valued at 60,000 Namibian dollars at his place of business in Okumbahe. Inspector Ileni Shapumba, Commander for Community Affairs in the Irongo region, confirmed the arrest, which happened between 8 and 9 p.m. at a local mini shop in Okumbahe, Irongo region. According to Shapumba, following an intelligence-led operation, the suspect was found with 2 python skins, which he kept in his mini shop during a police search. The items that were kept in grey plastic bags were further seized by police. It was further alleged that a revolver pistol valued at 5,000 Namibian dollars without a license was also found hidden in the same vicinity. The suspect was charged with possession of skins, specially protected, as well as possession of a firearm without a license. He will appear at the Omaruru Magistrates Court today. Remember to engage with this story and more on our social media throughout the broadcast. Visual news coming up after the break. Getting into today's visual news clips, NIPDB CEO Nangula Uwanja says comments made by President Hage Geingob last year about Namibia's oil resources that were discovered not belonging to Namibia were taken out of context, adding that it shows the seriousness of Namibians to own the country's mineral and natural resources. Let's have a look.
About oil and gas, I know that there was a very topical matter, I don't know if it was last year, when His Excellency said the oil is not ours, and we all were up in arms, the oil is ours. And I find it interesting sometimes when I think that Namibians, then sometimes we don't even have a sense of humor. Of course, the president, he's the one who wrote the constitution. He's the one who chaired the Constituent Assembly that wrote the constitution, and which says that all minerals and all assets that are minerals, oil and so forth, whether they are in the ocean, whether they are under the ground, whether they are on the ground, they belong to the Namibian government and they belong to the Namibian people. He knows that, and therefore for us to make a huge story about that one, it was quite interesting. So then what does that tell us? It tells us oil is not a matter of a joke. You see, we are not even laughing. So, okay, so it's a serious business. So oil and gas is a serious business. Let us come to the serious business. So there are definitely many questions to ask. So do we have sufficient oil? Will it be produced? When can it be produced? Somebody asked me a question recently and saying, can government accelerate the production of oil and gas? So many questions, so few answers, because maybe the answers are not with one person, they are in all of us. And I think that is why we were excited as the NIPDB when the Economic Association said, this year we would like our topic to be oil and gas. Are you with us again like you were with us last year?
Getting into our next video, the employees at the Namibia Press Agency had a peaceful demonstration and petition handover citing unfair working conditions at the agency and the victimization of employees by the board and management yesterday afternoon. According to the employees, they will only hand over the petition to the board chairperson and not the CEO, Linus Chatter. We have given her enough time, they said. Elizabeth Joseph reports. The affirmative repositioning honcho is a target of legal threats after a dog lovers group said it has found a legislative path to bring those who enjoy this delicacy to book. An update on this story follows in the newspaper review segment after the break. Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers. Starting us off, the Namibian Sun's front page reports that former Windhoek Mayor Job Amupanda has told the Justice for Animals Association that he will defend his culture, food and viewpoints against legal threats emanating from a video he posted in which he was eating dog meat at Oneuptwo. The association yesterday said it has found a provision in law describing it as a hidden gem which categorically prohibits the killing of dogs for the purpose of commercial utilization of their skin, meat or any other body parts. On page 3, in the wake of the United Kingdom's recent implementation of a visa requirement for Namibian passport holders, the UK government has introduced voluntary return services for Namibian nationals residing in that country. The move comes as a part of the UK's efforts to address the implications of the new regulation, which took effect on the 1st of August. Announced by the government on 19 July, the changes to its immigration laws aim to protect the UK's borders and ensure the legitimacy of its visitors. Yesterday, the Namibian High Commission announced the UK's readiness to provide voluntary return services for Namibian nationals residing in that country without legal immigration status or the right to remain. Republican informs that while the closing of borders for selected horticulture products during times of sufficient local production has resulted in an increase in production over the years, Namibia is still importing 70% of products for Namibian demand. Apples are Namibia's most imported horticulture product. According to the Horticulture Industry in Namibia report by the High Economic Intelligence, the country imported 66,824 tons of horticultural products valued at 524 million Namibian dollars during 2022 and 2023. At the same time, the local demand for horticultural products in Namibia amounted to 95,734 tons, of which only 30% were produced locally. On the paper's page 3, a government cleaner paid 36,498 Namibian dollars in income tax between 2013 and 2018, while a corporate entity that made over 926 million Namibian dollars during the same period paid zero taxes, the Namibia Revenue Agency has revealed. In court papers, NAMRA Commissioner Sam Shivute noted that Chinese firm Zhongmei Engineering Group made zero tax payments during the period under review, despite scoring government tenders to the tune of nearly 1 billion Namibian dollars. The tax agency shocked Zhongmei recently after deducting 33 million Namibian dollars in pending taxes directly from its bank account. The company has since dragged NAMRA to court seeking a reversal of the deduction. It is represented by prominent lawyer Sisa Namanje. The report on page 1 of today's edition of the Allgemeine Zeitung deals with the gas and oil conference that the NIPDB plans to host in mid-August, together with the EAN, the Hans Seidel Foundation and NAMCOR. The conference aims to change the opinion of the Namibian public in favor of the extraction of gas and oil. Namibia's experience gained through hydrogen development is likely to serve as a basis for negotiations and the next steps on the way to a gas and oil industry. Moving over to the paper's page 3, according to the report on the page 3 of the Allgemeine Zeitung, the Justice for Animals Trust has discovered a law that prohibits the killing of dogs for commercial exploitation. Like all other animal welfare institutions, we were of the mistaken opinion that there was no ordinance or law in terms of the Animal Welfare Act of Act 71 of 1962, which forbade the commercial slaughtering of dogs. Reluctantly, we had to concede until now that it is not unlawful to kill a dog for consumption purposes, the trust announced, and is happy to now be able to take action against the slaughtering of dogs after all. Stick around, we get into the second half of our newspaper review segment after the break, starting with what leads on the Namibian newspaper's front page.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the
15. The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Continuing right along with our newspaper review, the Namibian newspaper reports that Swapo Party Youth League Secretary Ephraim Nekongo says a call by party parliamentarian Jerry Kanjo for Swapo to convene an extraordinary Congress this year to nominate Swapo's presidential candidate for 2024's election could be considered gender-based violence against women. The Namibian on Friday reported that Kanjo wrote to Swapo President Hage Geingob to request an extraordinary Congress this year to nominate the party's presidential candidate. On page 3, Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security Albert Kawana has warned police officers conniving with criminals and those assisting them to escape from prison to stop. Kawana was speaking at the official inauguration of the new multi-million-dollar police station at Nkurenkuru in the Kavango West region on Friday. The minister reminded the police officers in attendance of their duty to apprehend criminals and not be criminals themselves. He added that the Inspector General of the police and the entire management of the force are under the obligation to ensure that dishonest members have no place in the force but should be dealt with. On New Era's front page, Windhoek High Court Judge S.C. Chiming Chase has severely criticized the police's conduct during the arrest of a stock theft suspect. Retired Mayor General Thomas Ngilifafali Hamunyela, who sued the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security for unlawful arrest and detention, scored a handsome settlement. Chiming Chase awarded him a total of 219,000 Namibian dollars 630 in damages. In her judgment, she said the Namibian Constitution is crystal clear on the recognition of inherent dignity and of equal and unalienable rights of all members of the human family, which is purposefully disregarded by those mandated to uphold the provisions and to serve and protect. On page 3, mayors and councillors of Tier 2 municipalities, town and village councils will now earn more in terms of setting allowances after the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development granted approval for a 15% and 25% increase on monthly allowances. The ministry has also introduced additional airtime allowances for councillors and sitting allowances for members of these local authorities. However, it is important to note that these increases do not apply to Swakopmund, Walvis Bay and Windhoek municipalities, as they generate their income independently. This increase comes in response to the Association of Local Authorities in Namibia, which had previously proposed a salary increment of 50%. Moving over, Market Watch reports that farmers in the market are discouraged to stay as they are competing with low South African wholesale prices, causing them to make fewer profits and in turn produce fewer volumes of horticulture. This poses a barrier to entering the market for local farmers. Therefore, most farmers are opting to sell their products in the informal market, Simona Storm said. Namibia remains reliant on the import of horticulture products as imports continuously exceeds exports and local production, Simona Storm added. The African African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which Namibia signed and ratified on the 2nd of July 2018 and the 1st of February 2019 respectively, allows for the removal of tariff and non-tariff barriers to trade. Now, Capricorn Group CIO honored with Financial Technology Award. We get into the story after the break as we dive into our economic news.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In today's economic news, Capricorn Group announced that one of its executives, Dr. Etienne Slabert, the group's Chief Information Officer, has been bestowed with the prestigious CIO of the Year 2023 award for his exceptional leadership, visionary mindset, and relentless pursuit of excellence in the financial technology realm of Southern Africa. The award was announced at the 19th edition of the Finovix Southern Africa 2023 Awards, hosted in Johannesburg, South Africa on the 25th of July 2023. Finovix creates thought leadership on cutting-edge issues and solutions, celebrating individuals and companies transforming the financial ecosystem and consistently demonstrating exemplary performance. That's it for economic news. Let's take a look at the economic indicators, proudly brought to you by Bank Fintech. $23 Namibian dollars and 45 cents buys you 1 British pound, while 2 Namibian dollars and 56 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. Looking at selected NSX stock closing prices, Namibia Breweries Limited took an upturn of 1.10%, while First Rand Namibia Limited took a downturn of 0.01%. Local index closed on an upturn of 0.29%, while overall index closed as well on an upturn of 0.01%. Looking at commodities, all commodities are down, with gold down by 0.16% and Brent crude oil down by 0.54%. Now, after the break, we get into some African news. Stay tuned.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
We now expand beyond Namibia's borders to give you the latest news from the African continent, and later on we'll bring you some international news. Starting us off, France began evacuating its citizens from Niger amid anti-French sentiment following last week's coup. 262 people arrived in Paris earlier today. The coup prompted demonstrations against the former colonial power, with the French embassy coming under attack. However, France says it has no plans to repatriate about 1,000 French soldiers stationed there as part of efforts to counter Islamist militants. Germany has urged its nationals to take up France's offer to help other Europeans as Italy organized a flight which arrived in Rome just after 5 a.m. earlier today with 87 evacuees. The plane was carrying 36 Italians, 21 Americans, and 1 Briton, according to the Reuters news agency. Juntas in Burkina Faso and Mali have warned that any forcible attempt to restore the ousted president would be seen as a declaration of war. The two neighbors, also former French colonies, have both moved away from France and towards Russia after staging their own coups in recent years. Their warning marks a significant twist that could escalate the volatile situation in a region battling an Islamist militant insurgency. West African military chiefs are meeting in Nigeria on Wednesday to discuss possible intervention in Niger. Niger's military government has announced a reopening of its borders with Algeria, Burkina Faso, Libya, Mali, and Chad. However, the land border with Nigeria remains closed. We'll now take a quick ad break and return with international news.
The Agenda is a weekly national affairs interview program hosted every Sunday by Namibian Sun editor Toyvon Jabela, featuring a panel of high-profile newsmakers, analysts, and experts. The Agenda aims to reach high-end news consumers seeking informed understanding of national issues. This show is broadcasted on NTV, Oneuptwo.com, and the Namibia Media Holdings Facebook platform. The Agenda focuses on interviews where we put the nation in the hot seat. Contact Agenda at synergy.com.na to get your product and service in the hot seat. The Agenda, focused on today's conversation.
In international news this afternoon, a Russian drone strike has hit port facilities in the south of Ukraine's Odessa region, starting fires, authorities say. A grain silo and port infrastructure were damaged, authorities said, without revealing which port was hit. Ukraine's Air Force said earlier that drones were heading for the Danube River, where Ukraine has ports along the border with NATO country Romania. Romanian media said the port of Izmail had been hit. The Ukrainian port sustained serious damage, a source told Reuters news agency. Russia began targeting Ukraine's ports after abandoning a UN grain deal. The agreement brokered a year ago had meant that Ukrainian and Russian exports could be shipped safely across the Black Sea. Odessa regional leader Ole Kipa said emergency services were working on the site of the latest Russian attack and there were no reports of any casualties. He added that further information would be given by the Ukrainian military and posted several images on social media indicating the scale of the damage. Ukraine's military command in the south said air defenses had been operating for almost 3 hours. President Volodymyr Zelensky said that unfortunately there has been damage, most significantly in southern Ukraine. After withdrawing from the grain deal, Russia threatened to target any vessels heading towards Ukraine's Black Sea ports de facto, imposing a naval blockade. That brings us to the end of our international news, but stick around, we'll be right back with our local sports stories.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Getting into our local sports news, two former national goalkeepers, Arnold Subeb and Susanna Aces, are attending a COSAFA Regional Goalkeeper Coaching Level 1 course in Johannesburg. It is conducted by FIFA and CAF instructor Alejandro Heredia, and it ends on the 6th of August. The hearing impaired school will host the Deaf Winter Sports Inter-House Competition for Schools in Windhoek this weekend. Long-distance runner Reinhold Thomas has been selected as one of the 3 Namibian athletes to participate in the upcoming World Athletics Championships in Budapest, Hungary from the 19th to the 27th of August. Don't go anywhere, we'll take a quick break and return with international sports news. Starting off our international sports news, Saudi side Al Nassr confirmed the signing of Bayern Munich striker Sadio Mane on Tuesday as the Senegal star prepares to team up with 5-time Ballon d'Or winner Cristiano Ronaldo. Tearful Chinese star Wang Shuang said her team were not particularly good role models after they were dumped out of the Women's World Cup with a 6-1 humiliation at the hands of England. Some good news, South Africa are through to the last 16 after claiming their first Women's World Cup win with a thrilling 3-2 victory over Italy. Thembi Kgatlana's 93rd minute winner proved the difference after Italy fought back to level with an Ariana Caruso header. A draw would have been enough to take Italy into the knockout rounds. South Africa will play Group E winners the Netherlands on Sunday. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we will get into the highlights from today's broadcast after this short break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
You're still watching NMH at 1. If you're just joining us, let's take a look at the news highlights from today's broadcast. France began evacuating its citizens from Niger amid anti-French sentiment following last week's coup. 262 people arrived in Paris earlier today. The coup prompted demonstrations against the former colonial power, with the French embassy coming under attack. A Russian drone strike has hit port facilities in the south of Ukraine's Odessa region, starting fires, authorities say. A grain silo and port infrastructure were damaged, authorities said, without revealing which port was hit. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa and the world, ranging from current affairs, economic news, sports and international headlines. It's goodbye from us in studio, and we do wish you a lovely Wednesday ahead.